Voluntarily is that a private investigative agency is ethically obligated to consult with the subject before reporting his or her whereabouts to the client. Did Janice Krochek want her husband to know where she was? Want him to come to her? Want us to take her to him? The decision was entirely hers. If we reported to the husband first, without consulting with her, we'd be wide open to a harassment lawsuit. I'd informed Mitchell Krochek of this before we accepted the case. It hadn't changed his mind. His main interest right now, he said, was in knowing that she was safe. So we'd written a clause into the agency contract and he'd signed it, and now here we were at crunch time. I was not looking forward to it any more than Tamara was. The Hillman was on the edge of the Tenderloin, a few blocks from downtown. A tweener neighborhood inhabited by a polyglot of small businesses, Vietnamese, Cambodian, and other Asian families, transients, welfare recipients, drug dealers, hookers. Venerable stone pile, 4 stories, caramel-colored, with a banner strung above the narrow entrance that proclaimed, "Under New Management," in faded red letters. Once, a long time ago, it had been a regular hotel catering to tourists on a budget. The transformation into apartment hotel had been gradual and was probably now complete. The kind of place you wouldn't want to live in if you had other options, even if you were only sharing space with somebody else. The lobby was cut up into a pair of small rooms connected by an archway, one of them containing the desk and a few pieces of musty furniture haphazardly arranged, the other a common room dominated by a big TV set whose now blind eye peered out at you as you walked in. "Nice place," Tamara said, wrinkling her nose, "if you like the smell of Lysol." Big come-down for a woman like Janice Krochek. The home she shared with her husband in the Oakland Hills was $1 million worth of real estate. People and their screwed-up lives. That's the main reason we're in business, kiddo. Don't I know it? Runyon had been sitting on one of the chairs opposite the desk. Not doing anything else, just sitting there with his legs together and his hands flat on his knees. Patience was one of his long suits. That and the ability to shut himself down when he was waiting, like a piece of finely tuned machinery with an idle switch. Part of the reason was his training as a cop. He'd been on the Seattle PD for years before a leg injury pensioned him off and led him into private investigative work. The other part of the reason was the loss of his wife to ovarian cancer a couple of years ago, after 20 years of marriage. He was still grieving. From all indications, he might never stop. He got slowly to his feet when he saw us, stood flat-footed with no expression on his big slab-like face. Habitual, that lack of expression. He seldom displayed emotion of any kind. The one I'd never seen was joy. The 3 of us formed a circle. The desk clerk, a youngish guy with thinning, rust-colored hair, was watching us, and I wondered briefly what he was thinking. One 60-plus craggy Italian male, one 40-something stoic wasp male, one 26-year-old black woman, 3 generations, 3 individuals completely different from one another. "Still in her room, Jake?" I asked. "Unless she went down the fire escape. She had a visitor just after I called." "A John?" "Not unless he's a rabbit. He was out in less than 10 minutes. "How do you know he saw her?" "Heard him ask the clerk for Ginger Ben's room. She's out. It was Krochek he wanted. 30s, heavyset, expensive clothes." "Pimp?" "I don't think so," Runyon said. "I followed him outside when he left. He had a car waiting." "You get the license plate?" "I got it. Car's a white Caddy, looked brand new." Tamara said, "I'll check it out when we get back," and he gave her the page from his notebook with the number written on it. I asked, "Krochek using her own name?" "Maiden name, Janice Stanley." "Apartment number?" 309, 3rd floor. "Okay, we'll take it from here, Jake." He nodded and moved off to the front door. On the way to the elevators, I called